Some small businesses can't afford a directory listing, but they have skills and they have talent. Their talent matches the hard work and the know-how. Their workplace can be from the kitchen or a van. The business might be set up in a home or a garage. You don't find these providers listed in a book directory, but you can find them on eqicaribbean.com, the online tool you'll need to search for products and services. Because as long as you are searching, we'll be here to list them.
Yes, we're here with court in session. You need no take. First take, second take. The only take you need is court in session. And with me are the two Avengers. That is Teron King and Keelan Phillips. The Bajan Scout is on assignment, so he'll join us again next week. So right now we want to go straight into the NBA. Now, you know, last week was the All-Star game, All-Star weekend, but we'll just leave it at the All-Star game because the weekend was not as luxurious as we would like to think, or the NBA would like to think. So here we go. First, we look at Steph Curry dropping 50 points, 16 threes in the All-Star game. What are your impressions there, Teron?
Steph Curry is a great shooter.
Yes, I know you're not a fan of the All-Star game
At all.
but that's why I come to you first, because I know you're not a fan. But you gotta be a fan of 16 trees.
Yeah.
Fan or not, 16 trees is crazy.
Yeah, 16 trees. I don't care if you're playing against babies. It's 16 trees.
The confidence that sorry, Trevor, go ahead.
I was just gonna say really quick that Warrior fans, I know a lot of Warrior fans are actually upset about that because he's actually been slumping recently, and like, oh, you come All-Star weekend, no one hits 16 trees, we can't do that during games.
Yeah, well, you know how basketball go. Well, we all play basketball, we know how it's going. Right? Yeah. Some games, the basket like the ocean, and other games are like an earring. So, you know, you just, you know, you roll with the punches. But we don't want to start too long on the All-Star game. What we really want to look at now is who is moving in which direction after the All-Star break. Now, usually in the NBA, the teams that are contending are known then after the All-Star break. We know the contenders and the pretenders. So we'll go to the East with Teron, and we'll find out who are the contenders, and then we'll go to Avenger number 2, the West, and see who are the pretenders in the West.
Right. So the standings right now are the entire reason why we don't care who's in first to sixth in the first couple of weeks of the season. It's really fun to be in first to sixth when everybody played 3 games, but realistically, teams like some teams are really hot. First, the Knicks, the Hawks, the Hornets, all of them are kind of little, especially the Wizards. I think the Wizards were at one point. No, they probably done for the season, and yeah, they're in 1100 as well. So yeah, we never pay attention. This is why we don't pay attention to early standing. But the current standings, Miami and the Chicago Bulls are still locked for that first spot. Miami has a slight edge because I think we have the tiebreaker against them. 76ers playing great basketball. Pre-James Harden, that's an important point. Pre-James Harden playing great basketball.
Yes.
And be still performing well. Last time we seen him, which was the All-Star game, he was still performing at a very high level. So I expect him to come away All-Star break, rested and ready to kill. And I honestly believe that Harden is going to go immediately on Friday. I don't think he's going to miss any games after the All-Star break. I think there was a report. Actually, there was not a report. It was a tweet from their GM actually saying that you'll find out Friday. That just seems pretty much like, yeah, James Harden playing Friday.
He could play, or maybe not, or he could. Or maybe not. No, that's three years.
You all know that his injury is suffering from being in New York, really. I mean, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
He had a Brooklyn hamstring.
His injury is that he had a medical lack of ball. Like he needed more touch. Like he needed more high yards. You know what I mean? I want to go forward. This whole Katie Curry, nah. I want, yeah. But yeah, no. All jokes aside, 76 are looking good. Cavaliers are in fourth in the standings. They've looked really good. Their only real addition was Caris LeVert. So from here on out, it's just about getting him fully acclimated, which should be pretty easy. Coming out, All-Star break, are going to practice and what's not. Fun fact: NBA teams don't really practice that much during the season. Not as much as you would think. But this break will give them a chance to practice and get him acclimated to the team system and what's not. And we'll see how they look going forward. They're pretty much in it for the long run now. They're a good team in the East and a very competitive East at that. I expect it to drop in the standings though, simply because not because they're playing bad, but because the true top horses are going to now start to show their colors. Seems like the Bucks, I think, will rise. The Nets are if they don't raise, they're probably just trying to get a low seed on purpose at this point. When they get healthy, you have Ben Simmons coming in. We talked about the rebounding that they got with Drummond. We talked about the shooting that they added with Curry. We talked about a star talent that they got with Ben Simmons, someone who could play defense and what's not. They still have KD coming back shortly. They just added Goran Dragic, who, even when Kyrie is not playing, can still help with the other two small guards, Patty Mills and Steph Curry, fill the void for when Kyrie is not there. The thing about Kyrie not being there is that there was a report today. I reported this a couple weeks ago on my WhatsApp status, but it was the wrong mandate. This time it is the right mandate. New York is looking into possibly ending the mandate that keeps Kyrie from playing in New York. If that happens, let me tell you, it's going to be very, very scary in the Eastern Conference. And if that happens, and KD comes back, and Ben Simmons comes and plays well, and LaMarcus Aldridge is there, and all these people are there, and they still end up in a low seed, that means they wanted to be in a low seed. They did it on purpose. I believe that they will tank if that happens. I believe that they're tanking if that happens, right? The Celtics are playing good since adding Derek White. They also got back Daniel Tice. Acclimating them is going to be important. Letting them get their reps up and what's not and learn the system is a big thing for them. I think Marcus Smart actually went out right before the All-Star break. Marcus Smart and Robert Williams. So giving them time to rest and get back into it is good.
Yeah. Saw a report on fantasy for Robert Williams. He said that he should be back now right after the All-Star break. So he pretty much good to go as is.
Right, and I will hope the same for Marcus Smart, because I think I could be wrong, but I think he just sprained an ankle or something like that. So he should be good to go as well. They are one of the teams I think could overtake the Cavs, because they're most of the teams in the East after the Heat and the Bulls are really close in the standings at this point. So it's going to be up and down. It's going to be competitive. Raptors look really good. I personally don't fully believe in the hype around the Raptors completely. When I say don't believe in the hype, I don't think I'm not saying I don't think they're a good team. I just don't think they're like a top 3, 4, 5 team. I think the Raptors. I think
they're a tier below the rest in terms of
I level. I wouldn't put them on the same level as the Celtics, to be honest. The way the Celtics have been playing the last couple of games, at least. Generally, yes, I would put them on the same level as the Celtics. But the way the Celtics have been playing the last couple of games, I think the Raptors are about to. Well, they could surprise me. I wouldn't mind being wrong, because I actually like to watch the team, but I don't think they're gonna keep up with how elite the East is about to get. The Hornets is another team. I think that team is young, and Gordon Hayward was a good leader and stuff, but I see them dropping a couple of levels as well. Hawks are low in the standings right now. They're in 10th, but they're actually a team that can low-key keep noise. I have to watch for the Hawks, because the Hawks have a tendency of flipping a switch and going forward really quick. So we'll see what happens there with them. Do not sleep on the New York Knicks. They're in 12th. There's a lot of goals to make up. But Dark Horse to make at least a high play-in spot not the playoffs. I don't think we're gonna get a 6, but a play-in spot maybe. The highest, I think Raptors are the highest playing spot, 7, 32, and 25. The Knicks are 25 and 34. That'll be tough. It's really tough to do, but I believe in Derrick Rose. I don't know if I believe him that much. No, I see the numbers, but if he stays healthy, they actually made an interesting decision today that I really don't understand. I really want to get your 2 opinions on. They decided them and Kemba Walker agreed to sit down Kemba for the rest of the season, which doesn't make sense to me in terms of timing. Like, the trade deadline just passed. This can't be something that y'all thought of today. Kemba, as you guys know, I follow the Knicks. I follow the Knicks because I have no idea. I like to watch the trying to play, and then after that, I just kind of started following the team. And Emmanuel quickly, when healthy, Emmanuel quickly is ending games over Kemba. That means that, to me, it's probably like maybe a defensive thing. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a stopper. And then Kemba hasn't been like crazy efficient either. So, and quickly actually has been crazy efficient late game at least. So, in my opinion, you could have just traded the man. Let him go somewhere else and get something in return for him if you're not going to use him. In my opinion, I think they were just keeping him there until Derrick Rose got healthy. I know I think he's going to be healthy, and that's why they're probably sitting down. But other than that, I don't.
That one is fairly interesting because I saw it too, and my thoughts were sitting him down, which means that they're not going to buy him out. His contract isn't really crazy. That buying him out would not be like that big of a deal, but so they don't want to buy him out. So they can probably look to maybe trade him in the off season. As I said, I don't know whether maybe they didn't trade him in the trade deadline. Maybe they were, but they didn't get like an offer that they really wanted, or maybe they want to send him to a particular team. I'm not too sure, but ruling a man out completely is, unless it was a mutual thing, it's kind of tough to do. That kind of tough to do because like if another injury happens, like then like you don't have somebody who could like back you up.
But the thing is, right? I think it's because it's a player Kemba's caliber. I think it's because it's a past star and someone of his and that respect, because he's not just someone that you like. Kemba was a star in this league at one point. He's not just someone that you at their rows and just suddenly cut his minutes and don't say anything to him and just play Emmanuel quickly over him more and just don't tell him anything and just watch him sit on the bench and let him guess. No, you have to say to him if you're not going to play him because that's a respect thing. You know what I mean? You brought Kemba Walker here to be your starting point guard. If you don't plan to, and you paid him, so if you don't plan to play him, you have to speak to him and tell him something. I figure if it was a rookie or some second, third year player, they probably would have just did what he described. They probably wouldn't have even told him anything. Derrick Rose comes back, you any bench Brown, live with it. You know what I mean? This is how things going out. But as you just put, Derrick Rose is actually very injury prone. So if he goes down again, do you go and tell Kemba, well, we need you to play again? Because that would be very professional. So, and they don't have another guard on our roster after quickly. You're going to start Alec Burke?
Well, they at one point I think they were running Alec Burke at point guard. So I guess that they go back to that or whatever.
I think the big thing with Kemba though is health, because he's also a member of the Bright Paper Group, which includes AD and what's his name, MB. And this is the longest time MB is playing without suffering some sort of niggle or something. So they formed this group named the Bright Paper Group because I was attached to this break. So but I think his is health because he been complaining about some knee injury or something.
And for a while.
And if he's not scoring at a high level, he's no use to you, really. He's not going to defend the crowd without anything. So, I mean, if he's not going to be playing and he's not healthy enough to play the offense that he would like, then it's best for him to sit and watch the rest and then we trade him.
That's actually interesting that you mentioned. I didn't know it was a knee injury. That kind of makes sense because I realized he hasn't been getting much lift on his jumper like before. And defensively, he was never like a stopper, but he used to play like solid textbook defense. And he hasn't been moving the same. So maybe it is an injury thing where he just isn't moving the same, and they just don't want to play him or whatever. But it's a smart move if it's an injury, because if you're not competing, you're at that age now, and the team probably doesn't want you anymore. Probably just rest yourself and get right, so that in the offseason you can go to a contender. But for the East, player of the week, we don't have any because
we didn't have any player of the week.
Team of the week, however, is Team LeBron. First more player of the week, Steph Curry. Yeah, why? Because he dropped 63 threes. You don't see that every day. My player of the week in the East is Steph Curry. That's what I'm going. Okay. And Team LeBron because Steph Curry dropped 63.
Okay. All right. So we go over to the West, and we want to know from Avenger number 2, who's the pretenders over there, and the contenders. Now we know the contenders. We know the Phoenix and Warriors and Grizzlies and Jazz. So who you think will be in the top 6, and then who will be struggling on in the play?
Well, training up is no one, and training down is no one because somebody didn't play. So that's it for that. What player of the week? Well, Steph Curry.
Steph Curry player of the week in both conferences.
Unanimous. just unanimous. Okay, well, that's aside. The only thing I would say about the All-Star, not game, but event, the 75th anniversary ceremony, I think that was a pretty cool. For all like the basketball, like, I guess nerds that really like history and seeing all that, then that was a pretty cool event. Just seeing all those guys, all in one place. But in terms of the contenders and pretenders, I think in terms of separation and tiers in the West, I think is a little bit more clear cut than the East. Like we can honestly argue for like the East, like top 6 or whatever, and then even so, like the Nets or whatever. But in the West, I think like you could see a clear, distinct. I would say maybe 3 tiers. Huh?
The Nets are in the top 6. I don't care if they're in my top 6.
Exactly. But so obviously we have the usual. Actually, I can start from like the plane and come up. Between 7 and 10, I think all of them can switch. To be honest, that would be the Wolves, the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Trailblazers. I think any of them can switch in between 7 and 10. So if you look at the standings, it's not. Well, maybe the Blazers are maybe the team that will probably stay 10 or maybe 9. But like in terms of like the Timberwolves, in terms of the Timberwolves and the Clippers, like they're only separated by like 1 game, so they can easily switch. Lakers and Blazers, I don't see a way that the Lakers will really slip below the Blazers, but the Blazers have won 4 games in a row. And the Lakers.
Remember, they lost.
The Lakers are Lakers. No, we can talk about that later. Don't worry, we can talk about that later.
I want y'all to know. I have credible sources indicate that Russell Westbrook is about to ramp up production. Okay, so that means they're either going way up or way down. Like ramp up. So we'll see how that.
We'll see how good your sources.
In terms of the next tier, the Nuggets, the Mavs, and the Jazz. Now, before early in the season, I kind of had the Jazz kind of in that contender top tier based on how they played last season and kind of how they started. But to me, something is just not there for them. So I keep in them in kind of like the pretenders, but the reason the Nuggets are a slightly different case because I believe that if Murray comes back healthy and he has a couple weeks to think, they're a team that you might not necessarily want to face in the first round, regardless of wherever they see, because the Jokic playing at such a high level. If Murray comes back and is decent, and they said that Michael Porter Jr. is supposed to be coming back before the end of the season, that's like they didn't rule him out for the rest of the season. Like they have filed for a player disability exception or whatever, but I don't think that they had. I think Arthur Sutton and they don't claim it or whatever because they didn't completely rule him out. So I think the 2 of them you never know what could happen. But then the Mavs and the Jazz, like they're in that tier is like, I guess maybe they could win a round, but second round is probably the most I would put them. I mean, so far as good as Luka has been over the last couple of years, the furthest that he's gone is the first round. So, the Jazz, as I said, I just think that they're just missing a piece.
You can't really put your hand on it, but there's something missing.
Is something I don't know if it's.
You know what's going to be missing if they don't figure it out?
Donovan Mitchell. Yeah,
he might miss it for a long time.
I don't know if it's a secondary scorer. I don't know if it's maybe wing defenders. I don't know if it's both. It's just something.
Greg Conley.
So because Conley's getting older. I think Conley is good enough, like for what they need. I just think they needed maybe a better secondary score. Like if you have Conley, another secondary scorer, and
maybe at 4, maybe.
Hey, you never know. The next
or a big man who can actually, post up and get, his own.
No, but the thing is, for as much as we know Rudy Gobert's faults, yeah, like if you build the team correctly, like what type of, it's not like Rudy Gobert only came to you this season and all of a sudden that he doesn't have post moves or like he's only good on lobs or whatever. You know what Rudy Gobert has been for the past couple of years. So you build your team, huh?
You say he doesn't do good on lobs?
No, he does. He does that. Like that's all he does. The lobs and in terms of like put backs and off the roll. Yeah. So you know what type of player he is already. So like you build your team accordingly. You know Giannis, the type of player set that Giannis is. You get shooters and a big man who can space the floor. Build your team right. Don't have Ben Simmons with Embiid even both occupy the same area. Anyways, moving on. So so I think that's the Jazz they're on it. Now the Grizzlies, the Suns, and the Warriors. Grizzlies are interesting because I still think that they are maybe a year too young. I mean, you never know. They're playing really good right now. Like they're only like a 2 games behind the Warriors or something like that. And the Suns could slip a couple of games. Once again, we can discuss that a little later with the recent injury. But I still think that they have a good enough cushion that they will keep the first seed. With Draymond and Wiseman probably coming back soon, I think the Warriors plus the Warriors have been playing better ever since they went through that slump. So I think that they will hold on to the second seed, and I think the Grizzlies will keep that third seed. So I think that the top 3 will probably stay as is. The Jazz, Mavs, and Nuggets, they can switch depending on if they catch a cold streak or not. Where you say not for
I have to disagree. If the Warriors get back Draymond and Wiseman both healthy, they are about to be the best team in the Western Conference with Chris Paul out. And I believe that.
I mean, that's an 8-game cushion, though.
Huh?
That's an 8-game cushion, though, and they only got like 27 games.
A lot of people, honestly, he does so much for that team, dog. Like when people really understand.
No. But the thing is, right?
And Draymond does the same thing. Draymond does so much for them on both ends, and then you get about Wiseman too that could give Looney.
That though is a very interesting thing because as much as Wiseman is coming back, he wasn't very productive and didn't really fit in previously. So we don't know how they can try to get him into the fold plus Clay and everything. So like,
however, that team has actually changed a little bit since he's been gone. I think they're shooting a bit better now than when he was playing last. And yes, that has part to do with Clay, but the others have actually started hitting more shots as well. And their biggest thing this season has been interior defense. And you get about 2 guys that basically specialize in that. And one being Draymond Green, who also takes Curry off the ball and gives you Splash Brothers running off 120, hammer, don't ping down screens. Every possession, you're going to be a dangerous team. But
no, I totally get that. It's just that it's more of a unknown. Like that's obviously the best case scenario, but there's also the possibility where it might take a little longer for him to kind of like get into like plus two for him, he hasn't played basketball in a very long time. So in terms of fitness, you never know how long it might take him to. Yeah, Wiseman. In terms of him actually getting.
I added him because he's very tall. But honestly, my biggest point, my main point was Draymond and what he does.
We all know Draymond is the biggest thing for them. But I don't know. I just think the Suns could just hold on a little bit. I think that they kind of grew maybe in terms of with Chris Paul potentially. Oh, I think that they, especially with Booker, I think that he has, I think growing overall as a player. And I just think that he and maybe Ayton could, and with the improvement of Mikal Bridges and some of the other players, I think that they may just hold on. I'm not saying that they can keep the 8-game gap, but they may hold on maybe to like a game or two at the end.
What? You know what we could do? We could replace the Ben Simmons tracker with the Suns Warriors tracker. Because I believe the Warriors are going to overtake the Suns. And Pilar believes the Suns are going to maintain their spot at top.
Well, there you go. There you go. So let's see who.
So the West. So it seems that the West is a little more is a little trickier than the East. But I take your point, which goes right into what we want to talk about next, which is at the line. First thing we want to talk about the injuries to AD and the injury to Chris Paul. Chris Paul is said to be out 6 to 8 weeks, and AD is out for 4 weeks. So how do you think that will impact on the Suns and the Lakers? I really feel that the Lakers really should shut down and just look to see if they could get a draft pick or something out of it. But
they don't have one, so
yeah, that's a problem. So I think
actually,
or maybe a second round, I guess.
Yeah, they got some sort of pick somewhere, but it's like
I think it's second round. I think it's the first
or something. So
I think that's where the next first round is.
John Wall.
Yeah, no, but I think that pick is later on. I don't think that that's the next year pick.
No, that's pick 2027 or 2029. Some pick real far down.
Far around, yeah.
Ronnie.
So tell me, what do you think about the injury to Chris Paul?
I guess me and Teron, we're kind of already talking about it just now. True. Chris Paul is such a great all-time player, and just what he brings to the team on court and just from an intangible standpoint. Like every team that he has gone to since he left North, since he's been in the league, has just improved every single time, from Hornets to Clippers, tournament to contenders. Went to the Rockets, they win 67 games. Went to the Thunder, and we saying, oh, he career done. They still made the playoffs as like the 5th seed. Gone to the Suns now, they're the 1st seed. It's like no matter where Chris Paul goes, he just has an immediate positive impact. Even if it doesn't mean that they're winning, he has such an impact that while I think that it will affect them in terms of they may lose a little bit more games, it may actually help them in the long run. The backup guards may actually get more run and more reps, maybe more responsibilities. Campaign, and I think Alfred Payton is still there.
Campaign's still on that team?
Yeah, Cameron Payne's still there.
Yeah, and in terms of maybe increase responsibility playmaker wise for Mikal Bridges and obviously Booker, so maybe that might elevate their game even more to so that when it's in the playoffs now and something happens, they have already done that, so they are now ready for whatever happens in terms of that. Anything you want to add before we move on to the KD? The 80s.
Wasn't starting last year? Point guard. Well, not last year. The year before Chris Paul came, wasn't he the starting point guard?
Yeah, actually, he was not. Well, there was a point guard, but like the offense was running through him, so he was essentially the playmaker of the team, running the offense. So he kind of already has some experience. Yeah, it's more so Mikal Bridges now and Ayton, seeing as they've improved a lot since. So
my question is, and it's not really a competitive question, it's just who do y'all think starts Now that Chris Paul goes down, they start
Probably.
paving to the campaign. Do they run Booker up and start a 2 next to him, or slide McHale up and start another 3? I doubt they're going to do that. But who starts next to Devin Booker? No.
I think they'll probably start Cameron Payne, but you never
Kane
know
is going
if
to
they
be
might.
the obvious choice.
No, but the
Payne?
thing is, you know, not saying that it is not that is going to happen, but I mean, like, some coach or somebody may think, all right, let me run Payton and let Cam still work as that power off the bench. So it is not, but like I think it was already confirmed, whatever
Payne's actually a good defender as well.
Yeah, but I think it was already confirmed as outside that campaign is going to be the starting point guard. Yeah.
But let's not beat the Suns. What about AD's injury with the Lakers? Or we don't want to talk about the Lakers?
No. This one is.
AD actually, that Lakers team, I actually thought that was his. What side is that? That was actually his best game since he got back. He was actually killing in that game, and Westbrook was also having a good game, and LeBron was also having a good game, and they were up. So I can't remember who was they played, so maybe it didn't matter.
I think they played the Jazz.
Jazz, I think the Jazz, the big Jazz, yeah.
Yeah, they beat the Jazz.
And when I said killing, I mean like AD was killing that team, and he looked good. He looked aggressive. And he was moving like the AD we know and love again. And then
yeah,
happens. And honestly, it's like there's a curse on that team or something though. It's like nothing goes right for that team. AD comes back, plays his best game, get hurt. I mean, they have Russell Westbrook, they have LeBron, and no star got space to do anything, no draft picks. Like, I know there's all this drama in the front office about
LeBron, and it was
y'all are the one who constructed this team. You made your bed, no lay in it, make it work. Or we're not. That's actually what they said it didn't trade Westbrook. Because they wanted first. He wanted first something.
Yeah, but they wanted Westbrook. They got Westbrook, so now make it work.
Yeah.
The only thing they can do something in summer, but they don't have much wiggle room. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Their problem is wiggle room, and Westbrook contract is so big and ugly. But the only good thing is that he will be an expiring contract next year. But
so that may entice somebody.
But that's $40-something million that somebody will owe him. So they might trade him to somebody down the bottom, and hopefully we get buyout, and then he will go to a team that he really want to play with. But the problem, it never worked with Russell Westbrook, because LeBron has the ball in his hand 90% of the time. The 10% of the time that the ball is not in his hand, he's on the bench. And if he's playing with Westbrook, it means that Westbrook got to go in the wing or cut or something. And the problem is he can't shoot the ball in ocean from a boat. So his issues, the issues that he had didn't work well with Lakers, and that's the real thing. He needs a team like that. He will have the ball, most of the time, and he will be able to do his thing, and take body hold and stuff.
What team is that? Honestly, I did this the other day. I sat down and looked at the league. I can't imagine a team where Russell Westbrook flourishes right now. Like, I can't. What was his next step after the Lakers? I think I saw that a couple weeks ago.
He was going to play with Sacramento Kings or them and get enough triple doubles, and that would be the end of him.
Honestly, I mean, who's the Pelicans point guard?
CJ McCollum, no.
I mean, but CJ's naturally a tool. Like naturally, it could be.
It was Graham, but since CJ's been there, he's actually been playing too. I mean, he won. So
I mean, like, I'm not saying that this would be great, but I mean, like, if he's next to I guess a two, and I guess like players who can play off ball as well, because as I say, if they can only play on ball, then there lies the problem. You can't play with somebody who is also very like ball dominant. So I don't know what the next.
I never thought it would work. I was hoping for the best, but I never thought it would work. And the reason why I never thought it would work,
90% people thought it wouldn't work.
because the other thing too is you get Carmelo, who we know can play up on one any court.
Mm-hmm.
You get Westbrook, who can't shoot the ball in ocean from a board. You get the big guy,
DeAndre Jordan and this and then Dwight Howard.
And
Dwight hasn't been playing bad in the few minutes that he's getting, but
it's
just the few minutes he's been getting.
The problem remains there in the West. And the West has a number of people who will those boys guard. I mean, right now they can't guard. If you give them a Doré, right, and a baton, they can't get that good Doré guard. I mean, like, they just can't get guard. So I find that we see a star available and we take the star. But I don't think they're really.
And you know what? It's crazy because they did that last year. I think that they got that Andre Drummond move simply because the Nets got LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin. And when they got the Andre Drummond move, I said the same thing. I was questioning, like, what's the thing behind this? Because now you got Drummond at AD. When you give AD the ball to post up, where's Drummond gonna really operate? And like when it's all said and done, AD works like in closing games, they use AD at center. So it's like, and they have many games where they like into the playoffs where Drummond was benched and Drummond didn't play. Like, I think Drummond played like 10 minutes, or in one game he didn't play at all. So it seems like they constantly just scrambling to make moves because maybe somebody else made a move, but like they didn't study the personnel that they were actually acquiring. They just say, let me get him, even if it doesn't fit.
It wasn't. I don't think it was thought through. But we can't kill them. They already got AD and they got the team, and the front office said they're not going to touch it again. So we'll see what happens. What do you want to say?
One thing about AD. I want to say one thing about AD quick, in terms of his injury. The reason why his injury is so crazy too is because the one thing that AD has done since he's come out is he's helped their defense. The Lakers, when they are in a half-court set, like what some of the games, when they're in a half-court set, they're actually not bad. I would say they're like closer to average than anything. When the ball is like in the set, that they could set up properly or well, that 80 covers a lot of that. But no, like the problem is when they're in the fast break, when they're in open court, like it's just anybody just run past. Westbrook is be like, all right, yeah, you Westbrook is be like that guy at the security or like in front of all these stores. We're like, hey, yeah, you could go ahead, just waving at everybody. Westbrook, just let everybody go ahead on the break. So on the fast break, they struggle. Now that there's no AD. If they go back to that Braun at center thing, they were averaging a lot of points and they were also giving up just as much. So on the defensive end, which is they're already bad with AD, but minus AD, boy.
Well, I don't want to belabor the point because they were once my team.
That's your team.
They once my team. But yes. So now we look at the Warriors. The Warriors bring back Draymond Green and Wiseman. We expect that the Warriors will be better. I am hoping that they will be better, just to see how Suns and Warriors play in like a Western Conference final. So, do you really think that? I know Draymond coming back is going to be good for them, but do you think Wiseman will make that impact that everybody's hoping that he will make?
Well, I was hoping that he wasn't just sitting down at home and twiddling his toes while he was hurt. I was hoping that he was at least like, first thing first, watching film and learning. He may be hurt, but he's also still Draymond Green's teammate and his rookie. Draymond Green is James Wiseman's vet. That is well known fact to anyone that follows the Warriors. And that is one thing being hurt gives you on a basketball team at this time. So if you have a cerebral player like Draymond as your vet, and you have all this time on your hands, he was out for over a year now.
Yes.
For a year.
At this point, yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, court reps matter, practicing matters, playing matters, but sometimes that mental maturity you need, you don't have the time to gain during an NBA season when you're playing constantly. For the same reason that they don't practice often, these guys need a break sometimes, and these just need to step away. As little as they get to do it, they need to do it. And that's why you see so many rookies get better in the off season, really, and not really during the season. Some of them do get better during the season. Actually, a lot of them get better during the season. But not everyone can just do the things they need to do and put in that time in the film room, working on small stuff like your jump. Well, not small stuff, but stuff like your jumper and like there are certain slow down things that you can't do while you're playing and practicing whenever it's practicing and being an active part of the team that you get to do when you're hurt. Well, we have certain injuries. If you tear your ACL, you better just go and relax yourself. But I think, what was his injury anyway? What was his injury?
Meniscus or something. I think it was a meniscus, and it just I'm not sure if maybe they had I think he had another cleanup after.
Yeah, I think he had surgery. No, he had a cleanup and then he had surgery.
Surgery, correct, yeah.
Right. So he's now coming back, and meniscus stuff. Once you start a basketball player knees, once you start playing around your knees, that's not one of the best things to be doing.
Especially as a big man. You need to make sure that he's right.
His height and weight. So he will have issues.
One more thing. What I see Wiseman as in terms of Draymond is I think of Wiseman as a defensive weapon for Draymond to put out there and use, because, and obviously I haven't talked about the Miami Heat. Miami Heat have been doing this thing where they've been looking for the last season and a half, I would think, for someone to let Bam Adebayo go free on the wing and perimeter and defend, because he's actually obviously one of the best players in the league, and still have someone back there to protect the hoop. And I think that's what Wiseman is for Draymond. When Draymond gets to go, and we already know how elite Draymond's interior defense is, but when he gets to switch out and knows that there's a presence behind him that he can feel confident in terms of doing what he would do if he was back there. And I think that's why I feel that's the sole reason he took him as his rookie, to teach him those things. And you never know, maybe one of these days he might even teach him to sit down and guards. But Draymond stays in the back. But if two of them are interchangeable, and if he learns to at least guard the hoop while Draymond goes out, that makes them 100 times scarier. And if Klay Thompson catches back any form, and you're talking about having Gary Payton the second, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and a shot blocker on the court at the same time, along with Andrew Wiggins, who's actually not a bad positional defender, let me tell you something.
And
Anderson,
and Iggy too. Can't forget Iggy.
Iggy comes back. He's been hurt for a while, actually, but
I think his more that he's picking his spots, though. I don't think he's not hurt. I think he's picking his spots.
Fair. Injury is age. That's all.
Yeah.
And then do not ever sleep on how Stephen Curry plays defense off of the basketball. If these guys get someone that can shore up the paint, because Kevin Looney's been good. I'm not gonna lie, Kevin Looney's been good. But one thing I would say Wiseman has over Kevin Looney is the fact that more mobile and long
length.
Can't teach 7 feet.
Yeah.
Who?
Can't teach 7 feet.
Yeah. Kevin Looney has actually been giving serious effort, and he's actually improved a lot, and he's actually killing people on the boards too. So whether Wiseman starts or Looney starts, I think Looney will keep starting, by the way. But putting Draymond next to two of them is gonna cause a great impact for the Warriors, and I feel as though like you can't get worse. That's the biggest point about it. You get him out Draymond and a 7-footer, you can't get worse than what you are right now.
So that is the Warriors getting back Wiseman, and we all think that Warriors will be better, and we're hoping that Wiseman will come back and make the impact that he should, and also that we can see Phoenix versus Warriors with everybody healthy. And that would be a very interesting series. So now we come to our favorite part of the night, our section. This last week was a very good week for Avenger number 2. He actually got 4 out of the 5 picks. And he actually picked somebody that won.
There you go.
So he picked somebody that won. And who it was? It was
Nuggets and Warriors.
It was Denver versus Golden State.
Yeah, we're all
and he picked
Warriors.
Denver and he won. So kudos to the Avenger number 2 for being the best picker on last week, pick 5. But this week, basketball starting back on Thursday. Everybody gonna be saying hallelujah and doing Hail Marys and that sort of stuff. So
what made the Warriors win? You know what made the Warriors win? 16 threes, just saying.
Yeah. Okay. So the first game in pick 5, we have Atlanta at Chicago.
Chicago.
I hope you're not asking me
because you're Aaron. I'll go with Chicago as well.
I can't go again.
You're going Chicago too?
DeMar plays for the Bulls.
Okay, all right.
Unless he moving, I'm picking the Bulls all the time.
Okay, I forgot. Denver at Sacramento, my guys. Denver at Sacramento.
Jokic.
Nothing will beat Warriors, a bad beat Sacramento.
Right, so everybody going with Denver?
This is where we need Allen.
Wait, you're not going with
Except me. I am going with Denver.
You going with Denver? Everybody going with Denver.
Yeah. Last week was not a good week for me, so I try to get back in.
This is where we need Allen for a hot take. On Friday, Toronto at Charlotte. Now this should be a very good game. Toronto at Charlotte. Charlotte.
Yeah, we found Friday.
Toronto. You're going with Charlotte to
Nah, I can't wait.
Oh, I was thinking
Raptors. I can't wait.
Raptors. Keelan going Raptors. Well, I am going. I am going with Tehran with the Charlotte. They can't guard anybody, but me and just still there.
What just happened?
Saturday, Washington at Cleveland. Well, I'll take Cleveland.
Washington not winning any more basketball games in the NBA this season. Cleveland.
I go with Cavs. You go with
Keelan going with Cavs, and Tehran going with Cavs. On Sunday, Utah at Phoenix. Now, this should be an interesting game without Chris Paul.
Ooh.
Utah at Phoenix. I'll tell you where I'm going. I'll pick my guy, James Jones, at Phoenix. So I'm going with Phoenix.
I actually do not know. That was that hot playoff. It was Jamal Murray and never mind. But that's a toss up, to be honest. I honestly always thought, you see, when they were going back and forth in the playoffs, Murray and Mitchell, I always thought the only other guy that would probably made that series like not go any differently, like the way they were just going back and forth, that was Devin Booker. I think that Devin Booker against any two of them is pretty much, honestly, that gives a toss up for me. That gives a real toss up for me. That's a very good matchup with Chris Paul.
Yeah, so where you going, Keelan? By the time we get back to Avenger number 1, he make his mind.
I'm gonna
go with the Jazz.
You're going with the Jazz.
And the reason I am going with the Jazz is because we have picked every single thing. I got throughout day one that, if I get it right, I'll be ahead of the curve. So,
okay.
All
right. I tried that last time. I got 1 out of 5. I just laying up.
Yeah, I tried that last time. I got 4. So hopefully it'll work out again.
All right. So you were Phoenix to Tehran?
Yeah, James Jones, Miami there, yeah.
Okay. So that is Phoenix. So Phoenix, last game of the pick 5, and Keelan goes with the Jazz. And your final word, Mr. Avenger number 1, what is yours going to say?
I've been thinking about this for a couple of weeks, right? You know, we never actually say what the scores are in pick five. I don't know what was the standings for the pick five right now in second half, because I remember I won the first half apparently, and then I don't know what the standings are currently for the second half. But we never actually say. We say how many people, actually no, we don't even say how many each person won or whatever. So I actually, what is? Give me the breakdown of the pick five as a standing.
And you will, next week we will give you the breakdown of the pick five after this round. And you don't have to worry, you're not leaving. So
you gotta give
no, I don't. I'm just joking. I don't know who's leaving. But anyway, it is time for us. It's time for us to say the court is adjourned.